Throughout the history of YouTube, there's of course been no shortage of creeps on the platform. However, there's always existed one champion atop this mountain of weirdos, one alpha goober, who is more laughably pathetic and cringe, and more dangerously unhinged than all of the rest. His name used to send shivers down the spines of all parents who had teenage girls in their household. His name has long since been forgotten, like an ancient threat. He's like the Sauron of YouTube, the Thanos of online accused predators. His name is Onision. This is someone I've covered quite a few times on the channel over the years, and we're going to be talking about him again because he is now facing his biggest lawsuit yet for his alleged grooming and solicitation of pictures of underage girls, as well as a lot of other really awful things that he has been accused of over the years. Talking about Onision in 2023 is like talking about a 1970s obscure action movie villain that no one remembers. It's just been so long since anyone's actually talked about him outside of just mentioning all of his absolute degeneracy or laughing at him for when he embarrasses himself. Even though he's not active on YouTube, he is still active on Twitter and posts just unbearable, unreadable garbage. Things like, "What if I hugged you and then buried my tongue deep inside your asshole and then I fished around in there for dingleberries? Would you like that? Would you like that, my naughty princess? Would you get squirty for me?" Like, absolutely awful vomit-inducing shit. So he'd get dunked on Twitter still as just a little punching bag, but he wasn't really a YouTuber anymore for the last, like, 4 or 5 years. I'll go ahead and give you, like, a brief history of him, since I'm sure most of you don't even remember the shit stain that he left on the internet. I'll give you a little lore recap. He started making shit all the way back in 2007, but really what blew up his channel was this video, the banana song, "I'm a Banana." It was a viral video that really popped off, and it's during that era of YouTube where everything was just like XD random and making silly songs like "Spoon, Spork, I got a spoon, a spork, sporky spoon," like that kind of awful shit. He capitalized on that genre, and from there grew 3 channels with over 1 million subs each, one of them over 2 million, which for its time was unheard of. He was one of the biggest channels YouTube had for years. He was absolutely massive. And then he started letting that power get to his head. He started falling into a lot of controversies, but by far the biggest one was he had a website where his audience of mostly young teenage girls would send pictures of themselves that he would grade. He'd grade them on their attractiveness, on their bodies and shit like that, and he would critique them and talk about these pictures that little girls were sending to him. How the authorities didn't kick down his door and rip him out of his banana costume for all this shit, I will never fully understand, because there's a lot of substantiated evidence about all of this. So you can immediately see that this is a fucking awful person. This is a bad guy, and the controversies only continued to grow over the years. It got to a point where Chris Hansen investigated him. I think there's even a documentary about Onision and all the awful shit he's done. And he never really faced repercussions for these actions. He even still tried to, like, capitalize off some of the shit. He started an OnlyFans page which focused on cuck porn of him. It's not even really worth going down that road, but yeah, he started an OnlyFans for even more weird shit that he was into and trying to sell. He had an appearance in court a couple years ago where everyone was laughing at him because he showed up in a bulletproof vest. He was actually suing Chris Hansen, but ended up suing the wrong Chris Hansen, and Onision is so unbelievably fucking stupid, he's an absolute bumbling idiot, that he decided to represent himself in court. As you can imagine, this was a complete mockery of the legal system, and everyone was laughing at him because he went there in a fucking bulletproof vest, represented himself, and he looked like an extra out of a John Wick film. And now, fast forward to 2023, and he is facing by far his biggest lawsuit yet. They put out a statement a few days ago breaking down everything. The entire 48-page lawsuit is available to read and download if anyone really wants to see all of the details. Here are 5 counts alleged in the filing. This is just an article breaking down the situation, but this is all from the actual complaint. As you can see, it's very serious shit here. They're pulling no punches. This is the full knuckle sandwich they're coming after Onision with. And rightfully so. All of these allegations are disgusting. and he absolutely does need to be held accountable for years upon years of this kind of behavior. So I'm very curious to see how all of this plays out. This is a big deal for sure, and one that undoubtedly will be very interesting to see unfold. I am, however, excited to see Onision's newest breakdown video that he'll likely make for this. He's notorious for filming himself, having a meltdown, and leaning into the controversy where he tries to make like a mockery of it. So he like just has these over-the-top breakdowns, spitting and screaming and shitting and pissing, all about people, you know, being mean to him. But those are usually just trying to farm off of the drama. So he tries to like clout goblin his way into a couple extra views for some ad revenue. This one, I think, is far more serious for him since this carries huge sentencing should he be found guilty on all of these things. Like, this is not a light lawsuit, at least not from what I've read here. This seems like this could be an absolute big one. So I don't know if he's gonna be his usual deplorable attention farming self off this case here, but I guess we'll just have to see. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit, and that's about it. So yeah. I've stumbled across the creepiest dating coach the cyberspace has ever seen. He's like a Galactus-level threat to getting laid. Like, if you ever wanted to ensure every woman is frightened of you, follow his advice. But also, if you want to follow his advice, make sure you got your piggy bank ready to turn over, because you gotta pay for his course on it. This is his slogan: alpha dominance in dating, rise above the rest. And then if you scroll down on his homepage, it says, navigate the fog when it comes to women, it's time to level up. Now, I'm going to show you all the videos he's been posting to try and drive sales to his Picking Up Women course, the Steaming Ham Tutorial Step-by-Step Guide. And he's pretty much exactly what you're picturing right now after reading It's Time to Level Up. He legitimately looks and speaks like a Redditor who's just reading off of old Ask Reddit pages from 12 years ago.
You do not have to accept her rejection.
You couldn't script a worse start to this lesson. You don't have to accept her rejection. Brother, that's like the #1 thing you should accept, not just with women, but with people in general. Nobody likes the pushy douchebag that refuses to take no for an answer. The guy's out here cosplaying as a car salesman, treating romance like it's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel. No, I will not allow this to happen because I have this trap card. The conversation will continue whether you like it or not.
I'm a professional dating coach, and I teach guys how to understand the female mind. Now, if you're one of the people that haven't applied anything in my course or my videos or anything like that, this video is not for you. This is an advanced technique.
This ain't your grandma's flirting no more. This ain't Weenie Hut Juniors. This is forbidden jutsu. While you were out partying, he was inside, studying the techniques, and he's bestowing upon us his sage wisdom with the advanced stuff. This is a man who has mastered the female mind, and he's sharing all of its secrets with us and telling us all the techniques to make it bend to our will.
You don't have to accept her rejection. Now, here's an example. I was talking to a girl, and she said, oh, you know, I'm not really interested. And I, instead of just going, okay, and then just turning away, I did this. Why would you not be interested in me? I'm the best.
It's genius! The chosen one! Lisan Al-Gaib! How could we have not thought of that technique? Whoa! Instead of just accepting when a girl isn't into you, you say, wait, but you should be. No, you! He's done it! He's cracked the code! His midichlorian count is beyond our comprehension. Behold, the patron saint of pussy has come! Yes! So instead of accepting a rejection, you keep pestering her about you being the best. If that's not the most cringe shit in the world, I don't know what is.
Absolutely the best. And she's like, oh, how? I'm like, well, you'd have to come over to my house to find out. And you'd also have to be okay with kink, and you'd also have to be okay with my mastery of the ropes and the fact I have multiple women. And actually, maybe not. Maybe you wouldn't be the best for me.
Yeah, fucking right, dweeb. She'd see through that lie so quickly. The only thing you're best at is top lane one-trick Teemo in your fucking anime club Discord group. No shot that would ever work in a real situation. If you said that to a living, breathing human being in the real world, she would be so immediately creeped out by you, she'd be running away. fucking screaming for help. Going up to a stranger who has just rejected you and then saying you're the best and the only way she'll find out how is if she comes over and has to be into kink and all of that. What fantasy are you living in? You're so fucking porn-brained if you think that would ever work on just a total stranger. It makes you sound like a serial killer, like she'd go over and it'd be a scene out of Dexter's early seasons, fucking plastic put up everywhere as you're about to dismember her. She'd have to be okay with your mastering of the ropes and your multiple women. A, saying multiple women in this context makes it sound like multiple victims more than anything, and B, I don't know who put this into the heads of some, like, really desperate men, but most women don't like to hear that you're fucking a ton of other women, too. Like, that's not really a turn-on or anything. I know that a lot of delusional dudes think it makes them seem more desirable to women, like, oh, it's okay if you tell me no, I have, like, 16 other women that will tell me yes. Your loss, I suppose. But it's not really, like, a flex or anything. It seems super weird. It is super weird.
She started going back and forth with me, and I started building attraction in that because now I had sidestepped her fucking rejection. Granted, keep in mind, I didn't force it. I didn't say, no, you're no. I just played into her little fucking game. I knew she was playing with me a little bit, or just kind of disengaging, and I gave her a little bit of fun. You want to know what I did with her later?
Of all of the things in the world that have never happened, that has never happened the most. That is the most didn't happen shit of all time. What a bunch of baloney. Actual horseradish on this story. Just a blatant lie trying to get dudes to buy into this fantasy that he's selling, to try and go to his website and give him money for the worst advice you'll ever hear. So, if you do go to his website and check out, like, why you should buy it, there's a nugget of wisdom in there that I can't help but share. But according to him and nobody else, he basically can't leave the house without having thousands of sodden panties tossed at him from women that are vying for his cock. So if you go to why you should purchase the course and what you get, he says, proven results, with over 100,000 Tinder matches in 2 years, which is an outrageous number. He's fucking entire cities worth of women. Like, your girlfriend has probably been with this guy. In fact, ask your mom right now if she cheated on your father with this guy. I bet if you walked up to any woman on the street right now and said his name, they'd have a Winter Soldier moment going through it. Now, I'm not saying his name because I'm not trying to have people, like, harass him, but I'm fighting a really strong urge to not mention his name because it's so fucking silly. His name is Alpha plus his name. It's actually kind of adorable. He calls himself the Alpha. But anyway, as well as a little over 1,000 women in his dating lifestyle and multiple women currently with him. So he's not in a monogamous relationship. A guy like this with 100,000 Tinder matches, he has entire harems with him at all times. Slobbering on his cock. His cock is never in his pants. It's always in someone else's mouth or pussy. The methods are time-tested and proven not just by him, but also by his clients across multiple types of men. These methods just work. Don't settle for mediocrity in your dating life. Embrace the alpha mindset and unleash your true potential to attract the partners you desire. Cracking the alpha dating mind will equip you with skills, mindset, and charisma to become a dominant force in the dating world. Gain the confidence, magnetism, and success you deserve in every romantic pursuit. Invest in yourself. Unleash your alpha potential today. I mean, my credit card's already flying out of my wallet right now. I need to unlock my alpha potential.
Ask a girl, can I get your number? She said, no, I just got out of a relationship, and I don't know if I'm ready to date or whatever. And I handed her my phone and said, go ahead, type it in. It'll be fine.
Another story more fake than the Tooth Fairy here, but the way that he tells this story is haunting. I'm getting chills listening to it, like I feel threatened.
We can get Chardonnay, we can talk like girlfriends and talk about your old relationship with this guy. We're not going to do that, but it's going to be okay. Another example. Once again, not forcing it, not being super aggressive. She can say no again, which at that point I would have disengaged. But guess what she didn't do? Didn't say no. And that was the first time it happened. And then I did it again and again and again and again and again. And most of them ended up coming over my house, ended up sleeping with me. You just gotta know how to do it correctly.
I can see how he had 100,000 Tinder matches and has multiple women that he's with at all times. He is a smooth operator here. I admit I was skeptical at first, but after hearing this expertise, it's clear. There's not going to be any vagina left in the world for the rest of us men, now that he's out there on the prowl. Lord help us all.
Here's something I need you to do. I need you to enter the female mind for a second.
Oh, okay, yes, sir. Oh, man, he's delivering an order. All right, I'll try and jack into the female mind real quick. Oh, God, it's so scary in here. Alpha, pull me out. I don't know what I'm doing. I need your guidance. It's I'm
a professional dating coach, and I teach guys how to understand the female mind. Now, this will help you get more numbers, because you gotta fucking understand how their mind works and what they go through every day. Imagine if every fucking day of your life, you're approached for about 45 times, which is the number that I've come up with my extensive study.
Very scientific gathering methods, I'm sure. Yes, I've approximately calculated that every single woman is approached roughly 45.3, repeating, of course, times per day. Now, since you're in the female mind, since I've instructed you to do so, you'll recognize the mental burden that this takes on the female mind, of which I, your dating coach Alpha, have mastered.
Things like, why don't you give me yours, is a fucking thing that's going to weed out 95% of the spineless males that aren't persistent, that aren't fucking clever, that aren't witty, that can't have fun with her.
Yeah, those beta cucks. Not like Alpha here, who's so clever and witty he came up with the absolutely nefarious, diabolical even, genius method of saying, hey, I'm the best. Whoa, man, he's good, he's good. To give him more credit, there was more to it. I'm the best, and you can only find out by coming over and being okay with my mastery of the ropes, the blade, and be kinky. Also, give me your number so we can talk about your ex-boyfriend. Really good stuff. Like, actually very good stuff. I see why it's so effective now that I'm in the female mind.
And there's a reason she does it. Without being extremely forceful, sidestep it. Like I just said in the last 2 videos. You're welcome.
Disregard everything the woman wants. You do what you want, and you don't accept rejection. This guy's good. This guy's good. I see it now.
Let's talk about my nails. I'm a professional dating coach, and I teach guys how to understand the female mind. Here's the thing. If you think this thing you learned in high school, or that, is the best way to get a girl to, oh my God, to an O, Jesus Christ.
Not even God could have mercy on your soul if you had that belief. Alpha's about to tear that shit down and blast your ass with real knowledge on how to get a girl to an O. And you can tell he's reliable because he's wearing his sunglasses and his leather jacket with the collar popped. So you know he just finished a threesome with 2 supermodels right before hopping in this car right now. And he's taking time out of his busy day of fucking mashing pissers with the hottest women on the planet to try and teach us barbarians how we can be even an iota of the man that Alpha is.
I can drag my fingers down a girl's back and cause one. If you don't know what a TO is, I can't go into, you'll should know them. TO and AO, Skino, especially a mental O. If you've never had given a girl a mental O, gotta tell ya, you're a kiddie league. Stepping into the arena with the pros, and you have no idea what you're doing.
You disgusting coward, you're a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck. Yeah, you're in the junior leagues. You're not ready for the men's Thunderdome. If you don't know what a TO is, which he refuses to elaborate on and gets really hung up on, so it makes me wonder if he knows what it is. But if you don't know what that is, even if you're not familiar with this nomenclature, you're already fucked. If you've never given a girl a mental O, hoo-wee, you stink, brother. But yeah, so I was trying to like analyze these terms because I'd never heard them before. So putting together context clues, I think a TO is a titty orgasm. I think an AO is an anal orgasm. Fucking, I've never heard these before. TO, AO, Cheerio, which is a breakfast cereal. Like, who uses those terms?
Guy, sorry. Little tip. Put a glove on with a long nail and rake. Not hard. You're welcome.
Now, this is going to come as a shock to all of you watching this, and you're probably not going to believe me, but it's the truth. Somehow, people on TikTok were making fun of this guy, so he responded to the haters.
So, I'm going to try to gain composure in this one. I've filmed this video way too many fucking times.
No, you didn't. That's an absolute lie. You're trying to put on a strong face because you're the alpha, but it's pretty clear the comments and what people are saying got to you, got under your skin, and you're making this as a strong response to it where you're laughing in their face. But the laugh is so unbelievably forced and fake, it's very clear This shit looks like some kind of high school drama club audition laugh.
But I kind of want to show you guys. I kind of want to show you the elite level of hate that I'm dealing with. Oh, dude, look. I am literally, that's fucking real fucking cry laughing. All right.
He just has a full-blown Joker meltdown. This app deserves a new class of dating coach, and I'm gonna give it to him. Yeah, that's kind of just the whole video response, where he's like, I can't believe all this hate. You guys are giving me fame. You playing right into the palm of my hands type shit. But anyway, you get the idea. Just another dog shit dating coach scam looking to capitalize off of people's insecurity and desperation to try and find a partner. Just wanted to talk about it a little bit. That's it. So yeah. I think most people realize by now that privacy's dead. I don't want to sound like a tinfoil hat wearing Alex Jones troglodyte or anything, but it's no secret that there's constant surveillance in the world. I still remember the day the news broke that confirmed the NSA is quite literally always watching, whether it's through inactive webcams or whatever. And you can see it pretty much daily. Like if you're having a conversation with your friends talking about lawnmowers, like, hey, my lawnmower just broke. I'm really upset. That lawnmower was passed down by my grandfather and his grandfather before him. I really am gonna miss that bad boy, the Perkins Gobblemaster 5000. You know, I just missed that lawnmower. And then you happen to go on your phone, your ads are going to be lawnmowers. That shit happens all the time to me, where I'm just talking about something and then the ads mimic what I was talking about without me ever having typed it in. It's shit like that where constantly there's signs that you're most likely being looked at in some capacity. I swear to God, this conversation has a purpose beyond me just seeming like I'm having a manic episode here of like gang stalking or something. I'm not saying that we're all just guinea pigs in a universal simulation or something by alien overlords. The reason I'm talking about this is because I watched a video where a big story just came out where some Airbnb hosts were hiding hidden cameras in their houses that they were renting out in order to spy on the guests having sex and changing, so they'd take videos and photos without their consent and without their knowledge. And I wanted to share the video and just talk about it a little bit.
It's like a scene from a scary movie. But this really happened. This man on screen is setting up a hidden camera in his home. And not just one. This is the creepy voyeur, Christopher Rogers. Convicted of using these spy cams disguised as smoke detectors to secretly record his guests in their most intimate moments.
I cut out the section where it showed some of the footage, but it was people either changing, getting naked, or taking a shower, something like that. He positioned multiple cameras across his house in order to capture these moments for his own sexual pleasure, and was recently arrested for it. And this is something I never even stopped to consider when it came to Airbnbs. I'm not a big traveler since I'm a pussy who's afraid of flying, but I did recently go to Texas and we stayed at an Airbnb, and the main thing I was concerned about was bed bugs. But now this really put the fear of God in me. Should I ever get another Airbnb, I'm gonna be going through that shit with a fine-tooth comb, be like Inspector Gadget, looking over every nook and cranny for any kind of like spy tech shit. And the hidden cameras they show here are pretty impressive. I would have no idea. Granted, I have a tiny little reptile brain, but I would have no inkling of suspicion when it came to these devices they show. It almost feels like an advertisement for these hidden cameras. They're so fucking impressive. Like, they actually seem like James Bond gadgets here, straight out of Q Laboratories.
Spy cameras you can buy online are disguised as practically everything these days. This electrical adapter has a tiny hidden lens you'd never notice. And this digital clock can record your every move. It can even transmit video live, allowing whoever's watching you to track your movements in real time.
I gotta say, this feels like a little bit of a Hollywood magic here. There's no way that digital alarm clock was live streaming that seamlessly with that high quality. I just don't fucking believe that. That'd be like a $50,000 camera or some shit. If you look at like courtroom footage from like court cam or something, they're transmitting in negative 240p at like 6 frames per minute. And you're telling me this digital alarm clock is better than all the security camera footage at these courthouses? I just don't believe it. I feel like that had to be like a little cheating there or something, but again, I could just be very naive when it comes to how advanced these hidden cameras are. Like shit, even my Sony A7, when I try and stream off, it gets blurry and a little choppy from time to time. That was extremely smooth. I felt like I was in the room watching her. Like, that shit is wild. But this is something that, again, I never even stopped to consider, but now that I know it's out there, seems like something some sick fucks would do.
It just looks like a modern digital clock.
25-year-old Isa Valdi was on vacation with friends at an apartment listed on Airbnb in Miami Beach when she says she spotted a hidden camera.
I turned around and I see a black cube that looked like a digital clock, and I'm like, there's no way. I open it up, there's a camera inside, I unplug it, and it's just like, wow, I was in shock.
But
bro, this lady needs to be hired by a forensics analysis team. The ability to just sniff out something fishy with a digital alarm clock at an Airbnb is wacky. Like, good shit. Like, that is extremely impressive. Fucking Batman wouldn't be checking digital alarm clocks at a crime scene, let alone while just leisurely kicking back at an Airbnb. But she was able to, like, spot something wrong with the alarm clock and confirm that, yep, it was a hidden camera. So that's great to hear. Hopefully that person behind that is also going to jail for it. And this is something that I'm now always going to have in the back of my head anytime I'm staying at like an Airbnb or even hotels in general, because I also looked into it a bit. It's happened at hotels too, where a couple of weirdo staff members have placed hidden cameras in some hotel rooms. And it's not so much the fact that I'd be upset with them seeing my cock. It's more so the fact that I'd be upset with them seeing my flaccid cock. That's just so embarrassing. I really wouldn't wish that misery on even my worst enemy. Like, if you're gonna spy on me, at least spy on me when I'm, like, at my best. Like, when my wiener's performing admirably, instead of all sad and soft and shit.
And say they immediately became suspicious during the host's tour of the property.
He told us where we should view the sunrise and said, you know, be comfortable, you guys can look at it in the nude or in your pajamas, no one's around. That moment I thought, maybe we're getting recorded.
Sure enough, he says just a few hours into their stay, he discovered it.
It's a little AC adapter.
Yep, this exact device was in the wall.
Images recovered from the tiny camera show him changing in the room. He's now suing the cabin's owner, AJ Ali.
You know this guy's guilty just from him smiling in his mugshot here. This is the face of a man who's seen more dick than a urologist through his little hidden cameras throughout his Airbnb lodge. And he also sounds like the dumbest criminal of all time, like, hey, you wild and wacky college kids, come over here. If you guys want to be naked, all power to you. But why not be naked in this exact spot? If you look on the ground, I have some tape down there. Those are your marks. If you could stand there while naked and admiring the sunset, it's for optimal viewing. And also, please don't put any bags over by that desk over there. I need to keep that area completely clear for you know, spiritual reasons. Don't put any bags over there. I don't want anything obstructing that table, and don't unplug that AC adapter no matter what you do. It powers the entire house. Hey, and now have fun out there. Like, he immediately just trips all kinds of red flags for this guy to eventually find where he's being spied on from, which has now led to this guy's arrest. And he's apparently been doing this for quite some time, considering they've recovered so many images from him.
He was arrested and charged with invasive visual recording after police say a laptop revealed more than 2,000 images taken inside the rental home, which was also listed on other property sites. He's pleaded not guilty.
This is a felony in the state of Texas.
The evidence is overwhelming.
Included in the images that we have on the computer are images of him setting up the camera in the room.
And that was something I immediately thought of. Maybe I've been watching too much Better Call Saul, but I was trying to think of how he could possibly plead not guilty and get away with this, and the only conclusion I could draw was if they tried to blame it on one of the guests. Like, no, that hidden camera is not mine. It doesn't belong to me. It must have been one of my wild guests that came in there and just used my place as some kind of sexual hotspot without my knowledge. You know, just treat it like a boogeyman, like, oh, some kind of cryptid must have broken in. A burglar came in and installed these hidden cameras across my house. It wasn't me that did it. Because it would be kind of hard to prove that the actual Airbnb owner was the one who installed them, because, I mean, I guess it could have been someone else. But the fact that this guy's such a fucking idiot that he recorded himself setting up the cameras makes it a pretty open and shut case, I would imagine. And just like that first guy who recorded himself setting it up too.
We'd just like to talk to you if we could.
He wasn't happy to see us.
Were you secretly filming people, sir?
He gets out of his truck and takes a swipe at my mic.
No, thank you. Have a good day. Bye. See y'all later.
We're
Have a
behind
good
the
day.
gate.
He says all the accusations are false. calling them fake lawsuits just looking for money.
When he revved up his truck engine, I really expected him to go full Dominic Toretto and just bust through his own gate and just storm up to his house and just hang out in there to avoid being interviewed. But yeah, to my surprise, he did get out of the car and try and slap the mic out of her hand. Didn't really offer too much of an explanation for his innocence or anything, but of course, you know, he didn't have his lawyer present, so it makes sense that he wouldn't give like the most intricate of defenses or anything. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to talk about this since I just got back from traveling, and now this has given me a little more food for thought for the next time I travel. Just maybe I'll do a bit of a sweep through the area to see if there's any hidden cameras. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah. Do you believe in reincarnation? If you answered no, well then maybe I can present some evidence to the contrary that might make you a believer. What if I told you the soul of Ted Bundy has returned and found a new vessel? He's on TikTok.
Excuse me. My name's Lori.
All right.
I just think you're one of the most beautiful girls I've ever met.
Oh, thank you.
Could I buy one of those things for you?
Oh, no, it's okay. I'll be fine.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I saw this video earlier today and it's a doozy here. So this girl is at a thrift shop and she started recording because there was some creepy guy following her around like a cartoon character that smelled an apple pie, so he's been like floating towards her. And now he's made his move.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you engaged with someone or involved with someone?
No, I'm not, but
I'm not either.
I'm only 17, so.
Okay, well, that's a good age to be.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not quite that.
All right.
You can hear how frightened the girl is here. She's extremely uncomfortable and just trying to be like dismissive so that way she can get out of this situation here. And the guy is unrelenting. She even mentions that she's 17, underage, and that doesn't faze him even slightly. He even says that's a good age to be. He's like, oh, interesting. Well, you know, good enough for Roblox, good enough for me. You know, on Roblox, you're allowed into some, you know, real spicy games over there. So, you know, it's a good age to be, I guess. I'm not quite that age, you know, ha 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 ha.
I got injured about a month or so ago. My knee is kind of, I'll show you. It's kind of banged up. I get bitten by a tick, actually.
Now this is where I drew comparisons to Ted Bundy. He's trying the fake injury riz here, which Ted Bundy was famous for. He used to like walk around on crutches sometimes or have a fake cast to lure in more victims, saying like, I need help doing something, clearly I'm injured, please can you find it in your heart to lend me some aid here while no one else is willing to. The world is so cruel and I need a special woman like you to come help me with these chores that I'm no longer able to do. And that's exactly where this mysterious stranger goes here too. He starts by saying like, are you engaged with someone? Very not normal thing to ask somebody, by the way. And then she mentions that she's underage. He's like, that's alright, what a great age to be. Hey, you want to check out my fucked up knees over here? Look at this shit. Look how gnarly this is. I got injured a little while ago. Look at these knees. Feast your eyes on an injury. Look at this. Yeah.
Maybe you can guess which one is bad.
Oh, I have no idea.
You can't
No,
tell?
I can't tell.
It's the right one. Anyway, I live out in the country.
Unfortunately, she failed the minigame of guess which is my bad knee. It's a very tough one. Like, that's an old carnival game. There are no real winners there. It's pretty much a lose-lose situation there. This is just so unhinged, so he pulls up his pants to better reveal his knees for this little side quest. Like, come on, take a guess. Which one of these disgusting knees do you think is the one that causes me most issue? Well, you can't tell? Come on, it's clearly the right knee. Look at it. There's pustules popping on it. It looks like a boss's weak spot in Dead Space. Are you even trying to win this game? You can't tell? Look, I hurt myself. My knees are injured. This is no laughing matter. I need your help. Then he hits that classic, like, non sequitur moving on line of, so anyway, he just drops the most, like, insanity imaginable. And he's just like, yeah, so anyway, I live out in the middle of nowhere. People will not be able to hear you scream. It's going to be completely isolated from the rest of society. I'm out in the country.
And I got a bunch of stuff that I was kind of trying to keep up on for work, but it's kind of falling behind. I'm looking for someone to help me.
Oh, okay.
It's a paying thing, but it's basically involves getting my stuff out of the garden and processing some things like tomatoes and that kind of stuff.
Right. I'm getting a phone call. I actually have to go.
There's a lot more to process here than tomatoes. I think this could have been like a full-blown kidnapping situation here, actually. This is disturbing. So, he's trying to pitch her now on, like, coming to work for him, like, to give him help with carrying things out of the garden and processing tomatoes on his land because he can't tend to it anymore after that tragic knee injury with that bastard tick that latched onto his beautiful knees. And he's trying to, like, lure her in with financial incentive, like it's a paying thing. He also tries to, like, butter her up by trying to, like, buy her something from the thrift shop. So it seems like, and some of the comments pointed this out as well, he is trying to prey on someone he believes needs money, so that way he can take advantage of that and, like, get them out into the middle of nowhere with him. It's like dropping money on the ground and, like, luring it in on the fishing rod, like that episode of SpongeBob with Mr. Krabs. I have to imagine it wouldn't actually be a job that you're signing up for if anyone took him up on this offer here. I bet they would never be seen or heard from again. This was like some, like, dangerous skin-crawling riz here from this guy. Yikes. Very yucky. Good call from her to, like, minimally engage with it and then get the fuck out of there the second she saw an opening and an opportunity to run. Anyway, that's a creepy old guy right there. Just wanted to share that. That's really about it. So, yeah. Call me a Call of Duty minimap, because I'm putting something on your radar right now. There is a Polish game developer who is going wumbo freaky mode. Apologies in advance for my terrible pronunciation of these names. I'm a tiny reptile brain idiot that can't quite get these accurate, but anyway. The head of Spectrum Studios, his name is Jacek Pierkowski, apparently had mandatory sauna sessions where his narrative girls, as he called them, which is really cringy Discord level shit, like his little kittens, he required them to go to saunas with him naked in order to write their scripts. Obviously a very weird thing to do. That's extremely creepy shit to require your employees to accompany you nude to a sauna. That's less than professional, I'd argue, but I'm not the Better Business Bureau. I have to wonder, can you do that? Like, can you have in your contract, like, hey, if you're going to be an employee here, I need to be seeing some titties. Sign here. Every Tuesday's titty day. So if you're not going to be showing me the hunkers on Tuesday, you can hit the road, bub. Scram. That's the one stipulation. That just sounds super fucked up. But apparently that was the norm here at Spectrum Studios, so this whole situation got kind of blown up over the last few days, and I talked about it a little bit on stream, but couldn't find additional information on it, only like the very surface level stuff that came out through LinkedIn. So I'm going to show you the stream clips and then dive back in here with a more in-depth findings about this whole thing. You seen the wild Polish game dev drama? The creative director for Spectrum Studios is requiring employees to attend mandatory naked sauna sessions. Yeah, I actually made a tweet about that earlier. I'd never heard of Spectrum Studios, but now I'm very curious what they make, because this is some weird shit. It was on LinkedIn. So, here's the requirements. So just like normal stuff like providing art bible, assets, feedback. This is kind of cringe. Mentoring of Padawan. Ew. Yikes. Ugh. Tip Fedora. Epic knowledge of Unreal Engine 5. Okay, I don't remember that one either. Yeah, it's just very embarrassing. But then this one. Attending sauna sessions, not negotiable. Entire team need to understand product, and it's naked sauna sessions. So on LinkedIn, got into an argument here with this potential employee. We've already exchanged a few messages in the comments here on LinkedIn, and for what you said, you consider naked sauna sessions a part of work responsibilities in your studio. I told you that's a deal breaker for me, and we've called it a day. Thanks for your offer, though. And then he goes, sure. Didn't recall your name. Is that with the team or privately? No, it's the whole team. The whole fucking football team. Honestly, I had a lot of time to prove me wrong to write a scene in a sauna without being in sauna and send it to Magda. Instead, we were wasting time on social media. My narrative girls had to go to a sauna with me and came up with an amazing script for proof of concept. Technically, it's possible to do it without, but I absolutely adore the fact that they could use their sauna experience to write awesome scenes. That guy needs to be investigated ASAP. I bet there's cameras in that sauna, at the very least. That guy's got his phone fucking perched up somewhere. So it sounds like he had his female employees go with him to the sauna, and they were nude, in order to write a sauna scene. Which is, like, that's something that you see in movies and whatever. Not like that, but, like, going to a location to write about it. Like, I get that. But it's super different here. Obviously. Like, he's not even trying to hide it. This man's just nefarious. He's a fucking pervert. Man's a criminal. Is it even a real company? I looked him up and I can't find any of the games they've worked on. So maybe this is their first game and it's a fucking sauna simulator. I don't know. Now, believe it or not, the man, the myth, the Jelking champion himself, Jacek, stepped forward and actually created a video explaining his side of the situation on LinkedIn. It's in Polish, so I don't exactly know what he's saying, so I'm going to be relying on articles that have broken it down for me. But I would like to say that this is some of the worst framing I've ever seen for a video. He occupies like 5% of the screen, like the camera is pointed almost straight up, and he's coming in at the very bottom like fucking Skibbity Toilet here. I don't know why he wouldn't just put himself in the center. Now, the best breakdown of all of this comes from a website called GamePressure.com. This is the best one I found. And according to them, Piorkowski, our protagonist gooner here, has claimed that although visits to the sauna were indeed obligatory, there was neither a requirement to be naked in the sauna nor to be in it with the boss. But as mentioned in the article, it seems that nudity is unavoidable considering it's a fucking sauna, and that's kind of the norm when going to saunas, I suppose. I mean, you could probably take one look at me and probably speculate and accurately guess that I am not a sauna enthusiast. I don't frequent the sauna. I live in Florida. Going outside, I get that exact same fucking experience. So I'm just going to take their word that nudity is pretty common in saunas, and when I was going over this on stream, that's what stream was saying as well. So even though he's not requiring a goatsy or like a nipple inspection or something to ensure all of the employees are naked in the sauna, it is still implied by going to the sauna. At least that's my understanding of it. Now, the statement about it's also not required to be in it with your boss, I suppose he's also kind of right on, but you still accompany your narrative girls to the sauna? Like, that is clear? Like, that is actually stated? So even if it's not put, like, pen to paper that it's a requirement to be in it with the boss, you have still been going. Like, you have still gone. So that's kind of a moot point if you ask me. The article continued to explain what the project even is that requires the sauna experience in order to be the fucking preeminent expert on it. So it's called Project Temple, a game about a young woman with a broken heart who starts trying to become a sauna master. That's such a fucking weird concept for a game. Like, how do you even make something interesting out of that? Like, striving to be a sauna master? Like, this isn't fucking Pokemon. You're not gonna be, like, collecting gym badges like a Pokemon master. To me, that sounds like a fucking snooze fest. I'm just gonna be upfront with you here, sports fans. Like, I can't even imagine what the gameplay loop would be. Like, choosing the right rocks to put on the sauna stove, choosing the correct aromatic oils to fill the atmosphere with. Like, what do you even do with that? I imagine it's gonna be the only story. Like, maybe it's a visual novel, perhaps? I don't know. If I'm being totally honest here, if I had to spitball a guess, I really feel like this whole thing from the very start was designed as some kind of evil plot from Jacek to force women to go to a sauna with him. That's really what I think. I feel like that's the whole purpose behind this project, in his eyes. Anyway, going forward, we require going to the sauna as part of getting to know the environment and research. We also hold company meetings during sauna trips. That sounds like a nightmare. That sounds fucking miserable. Mandatory sauna trips with your boss and coworkers? Like, come on. Like, Jesus Christ. However, there's no obligation to be naked in the sauna or to be in it with the boss. If someone prefers to only attend women-only sessions or use the sauna individually and come to meetings just to chat, that's also fine. As the rules of proper sauna use say, in a dry sauna with a towel or naked, in a steam sauna only naked, there is 90% humidity there, you can't cheat physics. At the company meeting, the girls were doing peeling themselves. I don't care. I wanted them to understand what kind of emotions we create. Original brief. The protagonist of Project Temple is Birdie, a woman in her 20s/30s. She had her heart broken recently and she is moving to Warsaw to find herself again. What a pretentious explanation for this absolutely ridiculous requirement of your employees. The emotions that you create in the sauna, you need the first-hand experience to write about them, huh? The only emotion that's being created there is the fucking boss, Jacek here, getting cum brain. Like, that's it. Like, giggling to himself while doing this with his hands. Finally, I get to see naked women in person, and they can't say no, because I put it in the contract. It just sounds so degenerate and weird. The article makes a mention there at the end, like, so this is the explanation for why they have to go to the sauna, because they need the experience to write about it. And the article says, one might wonder if a developer creating a military shooter should expect their employees to, like, enlist in the army in order to get the experience of it. And the answer is a resounding, of course not. Fucking no. Like, you don't need to be going to, like, frequent sauna sessions with your coworkers in order to write about a sauna. Everyone knows what you're going to experience in there. Hot, sweaty. And now you can write about everything outside of that and all the emotional bits. Like, you don't need to actually be there physically in person in the sauna with your creepy boss diddling his skin flute in the corner while you're writing about the Sauna Master game. There's also an allegation that came out here I hadn't heard of till reading this article, where apparently there's another scandal here involving the head of Spectrum Studios, where he's been accused of deliberately looking for people in a, quote, difficult situation because it might be more likely to wave red flags. And another individual named Natalia Wilzinska, I'm sure I absolutely ate shit on that pronunciation, also claimed that Jacek was lurking in artist groups on Facebook asking for samples of work with naked figures, and even posted some of the screenshots onto Twitter. Another really weird component about this is that Magda name that he dropped in one of the screenshots is someone named Magdalena Kuzinti. I know I butchered that pronunciation again, I'm sorry. And apparently candidates were instructed to contact them regarding the recruitment task, but Magdalena doesn't work at the studio at all. So it turns out Jacek was one of her students in a narrative design course, and it was during the classes that Magdalena gave him advice on the project. And furthermore, I'll just read directly, Jacek directed interested individuals to her, even though she'd not yet replied to his request on the manor, since she apparently doesn't use social media. And now she has come forward about all of this, saying, like, what the fuck? She goes on to explain that Jacek was just using her last name without her permission, without her being like an employee of his or anything like that. She's another person who's been harmed in this matter. This whole thing is so fucking weird. Jacek sounds like an extremely creepy individual, and I don't know how this kind of requirement to work there isn't like an illegal practice, to say that your employees have to go to these sauna sessions. But yeah, I just had to talk about this a little bit. It's so fucking weird. That's really about it. So yeah. How far would you go for something you love? This is the inspirational story of a hotel manager who risked it all for the sake of their passion. They pursued their passion with such intensity and determination that they would do anything necessary to get just a brief, fleeting moment of satisfaction from it, at the expense of one of their guests. This is the story about how a hotel manager broke into one of the guest rooms to suck on their toes. He loved toes so much that he was willing to go to jail again for sucking on them. There's a crazy plot twist to this story beyond just the actual suckling of those dogs, but it gets very ridiculous very quickly and goes in some unexpected directions. So I hope you're ready for a wild tale of something that just happened the last couple days in Nashville. And yeah, I heard about the hotel manager that was sucking guest toes. When chat brought it up the other night, I thought that was just exceptional service, but it turns out he was just sucking their toes while they were asleep. Nashville hotel manager charged after allegedly sucking on sleeping guest toes, a sort of nightmare. I actually asked this question the other day to Matt and Danny and Chase. Do you think if you whisper into someone's ear as they're sleeping for long enough and often enough, you could actually influence the dreams they have? I wonder if the people that were getting their toes sucked while sleeping, if they had, like, related dreams about it. It just makes you pee? What? How? Like, if I whispered... Let's say I wrote down, like, an entire movie plot, and I just whisper all of it to someone as they're sleeping and just keep repeating it. Would that have any effect on their dreams? Would they start reenacting my movie plot in their dream? I wonder. One day I'll try and myth bust that. The manager of a downtown Nashville, Tennessee Hilton has been charged with aggravated burglary and assault after allegedly sucking on a male guest's toes while he was sleeping. Oh, was it just one person, or was he like a serial sucker? David Patrick Neal was arrested Friday after hotel guest Peter awoke at 5 a.m. to find the night manager indulging his apparent foot fetish. He's since filed a lawsuit against the hotel alleging sexual assault. Neal cloned the key to Brennan's room and entered during the early morning hours without knocking or announcing himself. What did he think was going to happen? You would absolutely wake up to someone, like, suckling your tootsies. Especially if you're ticklish. That'd be panic-inducing. I mean, it's panic-inducing regardless to have this creepy fucking weirdo at the end of your bed just sucking your toes. Brennan reportedly screamed when he found Neal sucking on his toes and immediately recognized him as one of the 2 hotel staff members who had been in his room the previous day to help him with his TV. Oh, this was premeditated suckling. He was plotting. And he didn't even wear a mask or anything. He didn't even hide his face. I would have expected him to come in with like a ski mask or something. He looks like someone who sucks toes. Yeah, it looks like his, like, life juice. That's what's been fueling him for the last, like, 10 years. Just a little bit of toe grease. Brennan filed a complaint with police following the incident, and Neal reportedly told officers that he entered Brennan's room because he smelled smoke and wanted to check on him for his safety. Neal did not report a smoke smell to hotel security, and no one else smelled any smoke. Well, it doesn't really explain away the toe incident. Like, I smelled smoke, so I had to investigate thoroughly, so I put each and every one of his little piggies in my mouth. And wouldn't you know it, no smoke. Where's my medal? I'm a hero. Them toes were on fire. He was trying to suck the smoke out of his toes. What a hero. Yeah, like a snake in its venom or something. We just don't understand his ways. He might have very well prevented a fire, and we wouldn't know it. We're too busy judging him. All my life, you just have that sense of security and that sense of peace, right? It's not like you're camping and you have to keep one eye open, Brennan told the local outlet. You have that security that's yours, and when you close your eyes, you feel like you're safe and you're protected, and it was a complete violation. The last thing you would expect at a hotel is someone to sneak in the middle of the night and go to work on your feet. I was just so shocked, Brennan said. It was, who are you? Why are you in my room? It was almost like a dream, a sort of nightmare. It just didn't make sense. Why is this person touching me? Upon further investigation, Brennan and his attorney, Michael, with Rocky Law Firm, found that Neal had a lengthy rap sheet that included a voluntary manslaughter conviction for shooting his roommate during a fight in 1996. That took a crazy turn. It almost sounds like Brennan got off easy with just a little bit of a happy ending on his toes. Wow. How is this voluntary? This feels like just murder, right? Well, I guess voluntary manslaughter might be the charge for like a heat of passion kill. But killing his roommate during an argument or a fight? Jesus. Multiple charges of forgery, drinking and driving, a manslaughter conviction as well, which served prison time. When Hilton hired this person, they had to have known. They had to have done background checks to know. And the fact that they would put somebody like that in a position where they have the ability to clone keys and have the ability to get into a guest's room. That's a great point. How the fuck did he land such a position at Hilton with a history of forgery, drinking and driving, and a fucking manslaughter charge for killing his roommate in an argument? Or a fight. This guy must have actually been sucking the toes of the person conducting the job interview. There's no other explanation. There's no way. Like, that's not an easy position to land, right? I imagine at a Hilton. That's still a pretty reputable place. Brennan reportedly suffered post-traumatic stress and struggled to get to sleep in the wake of the alleged toe-sucking incident. The safety and security of our guests and team members is our highest priority. We're working closely with the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department, and as part of company policy, we do not comment on ongoing investigations. I am excited for the time they do, and apologize for the toe-sucking incident. Yeah, I mean, if that happened to me, you bet your sweet bippy I would not be staying at any hotels ever again. I'd just sleep in the car. But then even there, I'm not safe. Just have someone break into the car and just immediately start going to town on my feet. If this happened to you, would you prefer if it was a stranger or someone you knew? Oh, that's tough. I don't know. There's pros and cons to both. If it was a stranger, at least I'd never see them again and press charges, go through the whole song and dance. But if it's someone I know, then there's like that wrestling with guilt. Like, man, I've been friends with this guy for how long? And he did this? Do I press charges? No, I definitely press charges. This is fucking weird, but you know, you have that back and forth. So I'd say maybe a stranger. But then there's always going to be that lingering thought in the back of your head, like, what if he did more to me? Like, I was sleeping on my stomach that night, and I woke up and my ass was a little itchy. Like, I was a little sore. Could he have? No. But maybe. Like, there's still so much wiggle room for what-ifs with a stranger. So, I don't know, man. That's tough. Plus, my feet are super ticklish as well. In the late 90s, a very popular Japanese game show tortured a man for a year and broadcast it every Sunday night. This isn't like reality TV where it's all fake and scripted, not to ruin Christmas for all the believers out there. This was legitimately torturing another human being for the sake of entertainment. And it was extremely popular, averaging 17 million viewers every Sunday night that they'd play the clips. That's absolutely massive, even by today's standards. It's more viewers than the last 4 years of the NBA Finals and the World Series, and obviously more than most television shows get. For reference, The Boys season premiere got around 8 million viewers, and according to YouTuber Atrocity Guide, who also covered this story, the most viewed episode of Game of Thrones got around 16 million viewers, so it even beats that. Just an absolutely massive success, but it doesn't stop there. The producers knew there was still a little milk left in those teats and they wanted to suckle. So they actually turned it from just a weekly broadcast into a full-blown live stream where you could log on online and watch him suffer in real time. So whenever you were just feeling particularly quirky, you could hop in there and watch a man be miserably tortured for the better part of a year. Doesn't that sound like fun? What a great way of starting the day. A nice bowl of cereal and milk for breakfast and watching a man's sanity slowly deteriorate as he dances around naked in absolute agony. Wonderful. This is the story of Nasubi. As I briefly mentioned, another YouTube channel named Atrocity Guide made a great video on this topic, but I wanted to go even deeper. So we, Caleb, Chelsea, and I, really did a fucking thorough deep dive, spreading the foul cheeks of this situation wide open, going through live streams, all of the broadcast clips, in order to really get a handle on just how vile this whole thing was. So let's begin. In 1998, a popular Japanese game show named Susanoo Dimpa Shonen held a raffle to find their next contestant for an upcoming show they were working on called A Life of Prizes. Nasubi ended up winning the lottery and was ecstatic. He believed this was going to be a big break for him since he was also an up-and-coming comedian, and he was escorted to a small apartment where he was then instructed to take off all of his clothes in order to participate in the game. The challenge was he would have to survive in this apartment on nothing but his winnings from sweepstakes. They only provided him with water, and he was told that he would not be allowed to leave or communicate with the outside world or have any access to anything that he didn't directly earn through magazine sweepstakes. He was told that he'd need to win 1 million yen, which at the time, 1998, was right around 8,000 US dollars, through only mail-in magazine sweepstakes in order to complete the challenge and be released from the room. And yes, this does include food. They didn't provide him with any food. The only food he'd have access to is the food that he earns through mail-in sweepstakes. It just feels like there were better odds of a bird carrying $10,000 in its mouth crashing through the apartment window than actually earning 10 grand through mail-in sweepstakes. This shit is like something you would actually hear of like fucked up prison guards at Guantanamo Bay doing as like a joke or something. It's so cruel and brutally difficult. But Nasubi did actually pull it off. It took Nasubi 335 days total to finally make enough money to be released from it. Or at least, so you'd think. This is actually only the tip of the iceberg here, but I just want to give you the story in a nutshell. And I also want to explain the name Nasubi, because that's not actually the contestant's real name. His actual name is Tomoaki Hamatsu. The name Nasubi actually means eggplant, and he got this because the producers used an eggplant to censor his genitals for the broadcast, and they also said that his head resembled the shape of an eggplant. The whole point of the Susanoo Denpa Shonen broadcast here was to laugh at Nasubi, and people were. 17 million people having an old hoot and a holler, real side-splitting comedy, watching a man be legitimately tortured. Nasubi believed that he was being recorded and that the clips were going to be re-edited and broadcast for TV. So he would come in and like update people on what he's doing, like, I just won this can of cat food, I just won this bicycle, and then he'd like dance around and try and make it entertaining, but he never knew that he was being live streamed the whole time. He was under the impression that it was just going to be moments from the challenge. Not that every excruciating second of this challenge was being broadcast to all of Japan. Extremely fucked situation, and this is just the bare outline of it. What I want to do for this video is actually go through a lot of clips and moments from this live stream and the broadcast, as well as just everything surrounding it, because it is so baffling. It is bizarre that this actually happened. I remember Vsauce did a video on what happens to the mind when you're cut off from stimulation in the outside world for an extended period of time. And unsurprisingly, it is so psychologically damaging to be completely alone and isolated like Nasubi was. And Vsauce only did like a few days. Nasubi did over a year, 15 months total. This was Nasubi's first big win, a fat dubski. He was able to secure 12 pots of fiber jelly. I don't know what the fuck fiber jelly is. I've never heard of it in my life. That sounds like a made-up substance in the movie Snowpiercer, but it was huge for Nasubi because it's his first bit of food since this started, so he was extremely hungry and was able to get some nutrients. This wasn't the first thing he applied for, though. The first sweepstakes he was entering were for clothing items. He wanted to cover up, obviously, because being naked is going to be cold, uncomfortable, especially since it's being filmed. So he had applied for an apron first, but he didn't win. Obviously, since Nasubi was trapped in isolation, cut off from the rest of the world, he cherished every single knock at that door. It was the only bit of human interaction he gets. So he'd get excited, and of course he's expecting to win something, since why else would someone be knocking at the door? So he gets really hyped up, like, hey, finally something came that's gonna help me get closer to completing this challenge, or maybe it's food and I'm starving. But that wasn't always the case. Like in these two clips here, sometimes it was just fucking cruel, where a postman knocked on his door just to let him know that he needs to put his name on the mailbox or some shit, and then also someone put the wrong address for a ramen delivery, so he couldn't even have the ramen after smelling it. It was just really sad to see. Finally, it seems fortune's looking up for Nasubi here. He's able to secure 5 kilograms of rice. But then things get heartbreaking when he realizes he has no way of cooking the rice, because he'd need to win a pot from a sweepstakes in order to use it. So he just has 5 kilograms of rice that he can't cook. It's fucking terrible. You know, like, it's a treasure that you can't have. So he gets desperate and he starts resorting to eating the rice raw. Unable to continue eating the rice raw, Nasubi knew he needed to find some way to cook it, so he went full fucking Jimmy Neutron here. He hatched an idea to put the rice into one of the jelly fiber containers, and he put hot water in it, left it out overnight, hoping to make it somewhat cooked. As you can see in the clip, he said, even if it's gruel, just make it into something. It didn't work at all. So he came up with another plan to put it in the fiber jelly container, put it in the hot water, and set it next to the gas burner. So that way it would kind of cook it by proxy. And this worked. It was able to cook the rice, and now he had an efficient way of actually eating that rice that he won. Slowly but surely, Nasubi was chipping away at that million yen goal, winning more and more prizes, such as a bicycle, which on the surface seems pretty useless since he couldn't take it outside, but he turned it into a stationary bike, and I'm sure that was like a good way of stimulating him, because what the fuck else are you gonna do? So he'd eat his watery rice while pedaling on the bicycle, and he started gathering more and more winnings. It started to look like my fucking dorm room from college, just a bicycle and all kinds of miscellaneous shit all over the place.
来ましたね、見事に。いやいや、やってみるもんですね。ほら。
お米の炊き方98年3月版ニューバージョンです。
やっちゃってるよこれ。もうトレビアン。
He also upgraded his whole cooking operation by using a pin and a can of sake. He was able to create a pretty efficient cooking apparatus, so he was able to make rice more efficiently. He was even able to cook spaghetti now. So he was really like climbing up the tech tree here by just being an absolute fucking genius. And it's also worth noting, some of the more useless things he won, like the bicycle, wasn't entirely worthless because that helped increase the value of his winnings, bringing him closer to that million yen mark. So even if he couldn't get a ton of usage out of it directly, just having it in the room was beneficial because it gets him closer to being done with the challenge.
あ、でもちょっと厳しいね。こんな感じになっちゃうね、ちょっとね。
Now it's been about 2 months in this clip here, and according to Atrocity Guide, Nasubi submitted 5,748 sweepstakes entries in the first month. So you can imagine that he's right around that 11,000, 12,000 sweepstake entry ballpark, and he is just now winning his first article of clothing, which are used panties from someone named Hitomi-chan. I want to say I had no idea the used panty market spanned this far back in time. This is 1998. I thought soiled panties, used socks, and bath water were things women started selling within the last decade to take advantage of like internet sales. I had no idea that this was a popular market all the way back into the 90s. But anyway, Nasubi wins these panties. It's his only article of clothing he's won so far, but they don't fit, unfortunately.
名前つけてあげないとね、かわいそうだね。そうだ。ナスビのお友達でビーナス。ナスビ、ビーナス連れて初めてのお散歩。
I found this one to be extraordinarily sad, so still around 2 months now. He's had no contact with any human beings aside from the delivery guy just dropping off his winnings. He wins a stuffed seal which he names Binasu and takes him for a walk. It's his only source of companionship. That shit just breaks my heart to see. I'm not gonna lie.
貧乏芸人の日常生活においてステーキの4文字なんて想像だにしなかった。
肉をボールペンに刺して炙り始めた。5分後。
美味しそう。
ナスビにとって最高級の食べ物、ステーキを今まさに食べようとする瞬間。
This is his first time winning a direct source of protein. Up until this point, his diet was mainly just the rice and like spaghetti. So he'd be getting trace amounts of protein, but never something like steak. His macros had to be so fucked from this, but he finally gets steak, and he cooks it by using a ballpoint pin to cook it over the direct flame, and he gets to eat it and is super happy about it. I'd also like to highlight something in that note he wrote. He said, in the life of a poor comedian, he's only used the word steak in his imagination. I think this is big because prior to this challenge, Nasubi wasn't a popular comedian in Japan. He wasn't well off or anything like that. This was his big break, which is why he was so excited to be part of this show. And then he gets tortured. It's so fucking cruel. Like, you can't help but feel absolutely horrible for this guy.
さらに専用コントローラー付き
運転手はナスビ、車掌はビーナスってな風に
加熱しないで食べるつもりだ。
うん。全然いける。美味しい美味しい。うん。すべてビーナス君のおかげだ。
He wins a PlayStation game as well as a special controller for it, but he doesn't have a PlayStation or a TV to play it on. He then also wins raw pork and raw crab and eats it raw because he didn't really have an efficient way of cooking those. And you can see that he talks a lot to the stuffed seal. This is very much like a Castaway situation with Wilson. When you're deprived of human contact for as long as Nasubi has been, you start to try and find ways of being social. Humans are social creatures by nature, which is why it's so torturous to be deprived of that. It's fucking brutal. It's been right around 3 months by this point, and he is not even halfway done to the 1,000,000 yen goal.
3ヶ月ぶりの掃除スタート。
テレビです、テレビ。まあ1は映んねえのか。アップするよこれで。
そのものとは
歯ブラシと歯磨きのセットです。
He's able to win a vacuum cleaner, which enables him to clean the room for the first time in 3 months, and then wins a TV, which would have been great because he'd finally have some source of entertainment, but unfortunately, since there was no antenna, it was useless because it would only play static. And he still didn't have a PlayStation to like play the PlayStation game that he won, so the TV was just a source of fucking white noise, I suppose. And then he finally gets something really, really useful, which is a toothbrush and toothpaste, which lets him brush his teeth for the first time in 3 months.
白衣を着た人現る。
健康チェックに来ただけですか。
全く問題ありません。ナスビさんは健康であると認めます。
This is one component that I always see left out for all of the publications or videos that talk about the horror of the Nasubi story. They actually had a doctor come in and check up on him. The staff wanted to make sure that he wasn't like on the brink of death or that he hadn't contracted any like serious disease or anything. So they had a doctor come in, take his vitals, also did like a blood and urine test, or so they claim, and then gave him a clean bill of health. Now, assuming that that's all legitimate and not just, theatrics for the television program, I would still say this doesn't take into account the actual torture this man is enduring. Like, even if his vitals are okay, he doesn't have a disease or any, like, big alarming health concerns. This is a man that has been deprived of sunlight, socialization, entertainment, and just basic human needs for 3 months by this point. So even if all of the blood work and all of that is within normal limits, this is a man who is still very much not okay. And to try and make it seem like, no, everything's great, Nasubi's happy, and this is a totally fine by the books thing, look, the doctor even says so, is even more scummy and shitty.
嫌なことに気づいてしまった。命の源お米が米袋の底に溜まってる程度になってしまってる。
ついに今日で最後か。これが最後のお米です。はい、ドッグフードです。
すると
まずい。
ドッグフードです。
Somehow, the story keeps getting more tragic. The rice that he won on the 20th day was finally running out, and he was unable to win any more during this time. So he resorted to eating dog food, and dog food became the primary thing that he was eating. It was like his main diet. So he was surviving off dog food. And another thing that I've seen brought up a few times that I also question is the legitimacy of like what shows up. because it would have been very easy for producers to intercept things that Nasubi had won if they were too helpful. Like, I find it very odd that the only thing Nasubi won in terms of clothing throughout all 15 months was a pair of panties. That seems so unrealistic. I really think there may have been foul play, and this is just a conspiracy, where the producers intercepted clothes in order to keep him naked for the sake of the comedy of the show. And I think that there could have been a lot of cases like that. There's also nothing that would have stopped them from sending things he didn't win, like dog food. He may have never, like, entered a dog food sweepstakes, and they could have sent it to him in order to further humiliate and torture him for the audience. There's just so much shit in here that is beyond cruel and unusual. Like, it blows my mind that this is something that actually happened to a real human being. Luckily, he was able to win rice 3 months later. He won 10 kilograms of rice about 3-ish months after mainly surviving off dog food, as well as a couple of other foods that he'd win here and there, but dog food for a while was like his primary source of nutrition. And then he finally gets rice again. Now, it's been about 6 months-ish, and he is finally halfway to the goal. In 6 months, he reaches the halfway point. According to Atrocity Guide, he has submitted 38,000 entries by this point. 38,000 sweepstakes entries in 6 months, and he is only halfway to the goal. Just when you thought it couldn't get more fucked up. So what happened here is this show was so popular, people eventually found out where Nasubi was being held. So there was paparazzi, reporters, and everything that all were crowding around the space, so the producers moved him to an identical space where no one would know where he was. It was super far away, it was like 5 hours away, I believe, and this whole time, Nasubi thought, oh, I must have won. But it turns out he didn't. They were just moving him to continue the game in a different location. It looks like actual kidnapping, and to a certain extent it is. The entire time, Nasubi is kind of delirious. He hasn't talked to people in a long time. He even says his mind is clouded with anxiety, and he's saying things that don't make any sense. He's unable to really talk to people, or talk around people in general. He's like completely lost that ability due to right around 6 months in total isolation.
しかし、この企画が放送されていることを知らないナスビに、プロデューサーはなんか、演技担ぎ。じゃあ私のためってことですね、これは。
身に余る光栄です。
The team told Nasubi that he was moved to a new location for renewed luck, so better fortune at a new spot, because they didn't want to tell him the real reason that they were relocating him. So they came up with that, and I'm pretty sure Nasubi doesn't believe them because he kind of laughs about it, saying, oh, so it's for my own benefit. I think he's very well aware now that this is a pretty fucking evil team of producers here, and whatever reason they had for moving him probably wasn't for his own benefit.
格屋のこれは椅子と机が当たったってことなのかなこれは。社長気分っつうのかね。
当選第1号国用のパーソナルデスク&チェア。
操作しづらいんですよね、爪が邪魔でね。爪がこんなになっちゃってるからね。
His first win in the new location actually is a fucking fat one. He gets a new desk, a new chair. They're both relatively expensive too, so it's a great victory for him. And he shows his nails. The nail growth is outrageous. He hasn't been able to trim them in about 6 months now. Like, he is genuinely a prisoner here, and it shows.
With this room switch, producers decided to offer a live web stream alternative, causing them to digitally follow Nasubi around with a joystick in order to censor his genitalia. As you can see, the quality of the live stream is primitive, but keep in mind this is in the late 90s.
I couldn't actually find a high-quality clip showing how they censored the live stream or did the live broadcast, so this comes from Atrocity Guide as well. What they did is the producers had a whole team that was dedicated to following Nasubi around with a joystick like they were playing a fucking arcade game with a sensor to keep his dick and balls off the screen. And they live streamed him. They wanted to offer a real-time alternative instead of just doing like the weekly Nasubi update with clips. They wanted 24/7 Nasubi coverage for anyone that wanted to go watch. So this was pretty innovative for its time. I think it's definitely one of the first like actual around-the-clock live streams that ever actually aired. It's pretty impressive.
ウィダーインゼリーが当たってかれこれ2週間当選がない。
ここまでね当たんないってもなかなか久しぶりの出来事でね。
車で移動。着いたところは？
ちょっといいよ。いいですか？
ナスビのあまりの運のなさに見かねたスタッフは当選運の上昇を願い2度目の引っ越しを決めたのだった。
So Nasubi initially had a good string of luck at the new location. I believe, according to Atrocity Guide, he had done 17,000 entries and won decent stuff, but then hit a really bad cold streak, even ran out of food at one point, so the producers did move him again to another location to help him out in winning more prizes, I suppose. And it worked, because he did win more prizes.
ビデオデッキを頭にぶつけ当選の舞。
トイレットペーパーが当たりました。ほんと10ヶ月ぶりにねトイレットペーパーに触ったよ本当に。
He finally wins food again and really celebrates getting some potato chips, and he also gets a VHS player, which will be nice to go with the TV, assuming he ever wins a VHS tape to play it. But I think the most important thing he wins here is toilet paper. This is the first time he's had toilet paper in his entire stay. 10 months so far. And to celebrate, he tries to take a shit just out of frame, but was unable to. So an unsuccessful mission there, but at least he finally has toilet paper.
PlayStation それは8ヶ月前のこと。
電車でコントローラー好き。
6ヶ月前。
おー、来たよ。とりあえずまずや。電車でGo.
Now this is by far the meatiest win he's gotten so far, a PlayStation. That's pretty expensive, especially during this time period, and it also enables him to have real entertainment for the first time in 10 months. This is like a moment that's straight out of like Civilization, where you climb up the tech tree slowly but surely. 8 months prior to this, he won a PlayStation 1 game, Densha de Go, which also had the special controller to go with it. Couldn't play it, obviously, at the time. 6 months ago, he won a TV. So he had a PlayStation game, a controller, a TV, but no console. He finally got that last missing piece of the puzzle, the console, and is able to play PlayStation games now. Well, the single PlayStation game he's won. And what's really interesting about this is his first piece of actual entertainment he's had since being fucking imprisoned here. But also, and this was pointed out by Caleb, this would make him the world's first video game live streamer, because this is all being live streamed. All of this is a live broadcast, and he spent 4 straight days playing his PlayStation. So for 4 straight days, he was being streamed playing a game. This man was the patient zero of streaming. He walked so Twitch could run.
一心不乱で電車2号に熱中するナスビ。電車でGO、3日目に突入。
金プレステでございます。
He played so much Densha de Go that he had to ban himself from playing it further so he could focus on entering into more sweepstakes and getting closer to freedom. So he stopped playing the game, went back to writing entries, and he was able to do it. He pulled off the last remaining prizes he needed to reach that 1,000,000 yen mark.
一歩間違えてダイヤにしてくれてれば。
タイヤが84,000円。つまり現在の総額は969114円。
The tires put him extremely close to completing the challenge. He was right at the finish line here, so close he could throw the Dinsha to go disc right over the finish line. Only a couple more wins would secure this, and he was able to pull it off. The final item he won that put him over the $1,000,000 threshold was a bag of rice. But Nasubi didn't know he won. It had been 335 straight days of constant, non-stop, relentless filling out of sweepstakes in order to win these prizes. 335 days of torture, and Nasubi had finally reached the finish line, but didn't know it.
ゴールを祝いクラッカーで祝福。
100万になったってことですか？11ヶ月と1日前に脱がされた私の服ですね。
Per usual, the producers come in like a group of burglars during the night and start popping party poppers in his face, which scares the shit out of him and really confuses him. They eventually explain that he did win, he made $1,000,000, and they give him his clothes back. It's been 11 months and 1 day, and this is the first time Nasubi's putting clothes on in that entire time frame. So when he puts them on, he says that it's uncomfortable and itchy, but he's very, very, very happy to be done with the contest and glad that he's completed it. But that's not where this story ends. The producers took Nasubi to Korea, telling him it was a celebration for completing the game and for all of his hard work. So they went to an amusement park, he ate a lot of great food, he had a wonderful, incredible time, and then things got real fucked up.
そこは
脱いで。人は韓国の憲章だけで生きていけるか。
ナスビ大ショック。
Nasubi was making them far too much money. The producers weren't done suckling from this cash cow's teat, so they trapped Nasubi in Korea. The goal this time wasn't $1,000,000 yen. This time he was going to have to enter sweepstakes in Korea, which he didn't speak Korean, so he had to use a Korean to Japanese dictionary to translate. His goal was to enter the sweepstakes, win prizes enough to afford a plane ticket from Korea to Japan. That was the objective. He was stripped naked yet again and forced to endure the same torture that he had already endured for 335 days prior. I would like to make a mention here. There is a moment where the producer says, if you don't want to do this, just say so. To which Nasubi responds, I'll do it. So I don't think they had ever forced him against his will to complete these challenges, but he was pretty much promised fame after doing these things. So in the pursuit of Nasubi's big dreams, he allowed himself to be tortured mercilessly for 15 months.
こんなにいっぱいということは商品総額が47,800円ということはゴール46,900円突破検証生活 in Korea.
This time around, however, Nasubi went fucking plus ultra, straight up turbo mode. He had become a master at this shit, so he was actually able to complete this challenge in just about 2 months, which made the producers very upset because he didn't suffer long enough. So they increased the challenge duration. They moved the goalpost. Instead of just getting a one-way ticket from Korea to Japan in economy class, they required him to get an additional 9,000 yen in prize winnings to upgrade that ticket to business class.
エコノミークラスという一番安い料金。こんなに頑張ったのにエコノミークラスとはあんまりだ。そこでビジネスクラスにランクアップ。点まであと9,500円。頑張れナスビ。
Yeah, more scummy, evil shit from the producers here. They never even told him he initially completed the goal here. They just let him keep writing postcards until he'd gather another 9,000 yen. They didn't want him to win quickly. They didn't really want him to win at all because the longer he struggles and suffers, the more money they were making. So they let him just keep going and tried to spin it as a positive thing, like, look at how hard Nasubi's working. We're not going to let him fly in economy class, so the new goal is business class because it's what Nasubi would want. Just genuinely fucked shit.
頑張ったってこんなお茶2袋お茶よ。
宣言ということは商品総額は61,800円ということ。ファーストクラスにランクアップということはゴールの金額もランクアップ。
Nasubi easily gathered the remaining 9,500 yen after winning some expensive tea leaves, so he was absolutely slapping the producer's bottoms, like he was going hog wild right now. So again, they increased the goal without ever telling him. Now, business class wasn't good enough. Now it was going to have to be a first class ticket, which was an additional 20,000 yen, I believe, which again was pretty quick for Nasubi to gather. He won a live octopus, a big picture frame, and was able to gather enough money through prizes pretty quickly to get that final rank up to first class passenger. So then he finally gets the ticket from Korea to Japan in first class, and it's over.
そしてプロデューサーに連れられたナスビ登場。もちろんアイマスクにヘッドホン。ナスビは驚くべき行動に出る。
別にまだかかる。
なんと脱ぎ始めた。
なんだ。
せーの。
But the story wouldn't be complete without one more final act of cruelty towards Nasubi. They blindfold him, put noise-canceling headphones on him, disorient him, and drag him on stage into a mock room designed to look like the rooms that he'd been staying in for the last 15 months. So out of pure instinct, he gets completely nude again. It's the only life he knows, so without ever being told to take his clothes off, he does it anyway. And then the walls break away, revealing a live studio audience laughing at him and congratulating him for completing the show. Nasubi is understandably confused because for 15 months he has been psychologically and physically tortured. So he doesn't understand what's happening, he doesn't get it, and is shocked, scared, and all around bewildered. It's just one more sick fucking joke from the producers. Millions of people watching the finale, as well as thousands in person watching him, completely naked and completely having no idea what's going on or why. The life of prizes was finally complete, and the entire show, Susanoo Denpa Shonen, was cancelled pretty shortly after. It didn't have like a super long run after this, but the toll that this experience took on Nasubi's life obviously didn't stop with the finale. He reported being uncomfortable in clothes for about 6 months afterwards, and his social skills had obviously deteriorated. He said he was a lot more shy and not really able to be a comedian super well anymore because obviously he had been cut off for so long from people. He just kind of lost the ability to carry on conversations efficiently and overall just became a lot more reserved as a result of this. He did, however, sell his diary, the Nasubi Life of Prizes diary, like his journal, and that was a bestseller, that was a massive success, but he himself never achieved that level of fame that he was kind of promised with a show like this. He did have certain roles in other productions, and some of them pretty sizable roles in other productions, but never a massive success in Japan, even though this is like the most successful live stream in Japan's history. So just an overall extremely sad and cruel story. The main producer behind this show has gone on record and said he doesn't regret anything. He said his goal is to make miracles on film, and with Nasubi, he accomplished that goal. He did apologize to Nasubi, and Nasubi confirms that the producer did apologize to him, but the apology only does fuck all. Like, that doesn't make up for 15 months of lost human contact and health. You know, like, that's a nothing burger. But I guess at least he apologized, even though he made millions of dollars off the back of Nasubi's suffering. But anyway, I wanted to share this story because I find it to be one of the most interesting ones when it comes to like live broadcast television as well as live streaming. This is one of the first live streams, and it was fucking bizarre. Extremely fucked up story. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with all of you. Thank you to Caleb and Chelsea for compiling a bunch of clips here, so that way we could tell the story as best as possible. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.